Hello, everyone. Good Wednesday afternoon. I hope that you're having a good day so far. It's about to get better. Oh, yay, Marie, you made it. Nice to see you. So we've got Marie in the house. We've got Kathy D as well as Paul and Miriam. So welcome, you guys. It's so good to see you. We're all in the same time zone. We might have a few other people joining once we get started. Some people pop in and out. So if you do have some requests, though, go ahead and post them in the comments because fortunately I'm here in my family room and I'm actually able to see the comments. I'll be able to fill in some requests for you. So very exciting. Great to be here and great to have you here. So just before we get started, because we're going to be working on backbends, you may want to take a quick run to the washroom because sometimes that puts some pressure on the bladder, and I'd advise you to take a run now while I'm chatting. Also, if you have access to some props, some yoga blocks are handy. I have a yoga wheel here, not necessarily everybody would have one of these, but I just wanted to show how it can be helpful for some back bending as well as have a small Pilates ball. So just, and we've got Alicia joining us too. Good. So the gang's all here. Awesome. So small Pilates ball, that can be really useful. If you don't have a Pilates ball, you could substitute it for a pillow, a cushion, or even a child's, those soft kind of play balls, or even kind of like a smaller beach ball, maybe. Even a larger beach ball could be used because it might be somewhere in around the size of the wheel, or I also have the great big boy here, the big yoga ball, and that can be a useful one. So throughout, I'm probably going to kind of introduce these. Don't worry if you don't have them. They're just an option that's really nice. But if all else fails, a cushion as well as a rolled up blanket can be used. I have a bolster as well. So there's the blanket. We can roll that up. If you're not very flexible for your spine, and I think most of you here are pretty flexible, maybe some of you on the replay might want to have access to those props. So bolsters ready to go. But first, telling you a little bit about 31 days of Zen. So every day I'm bringing content. And oh, Paul, awesome. Another Paul. We have two Pauls in the house today. So glad you made it. So during the month of May, content every single day. I have 3 live practices a week. This week it's all about yoga. So the last one will be on Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The other next week will be Pilates, so 3 Pilates practices. And there will be the same time slots as the yoga ones were this week. So 11 a.m. on Monday, Friday, and 4 o'clock on Wednesday. I will also be providing some videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Saturday, we're going to continue on with the Chinese body organ clock. So learning about how a particular yoga pose, which I'll demonstrate, actually stimulates certain organs. And I'll be doing an interview live on Sunday. We had the pelvic floor one with Yolanda, Yo, and Virginia. On Sunday, we had a really good time discussing some really important topics for both gentlemen and for ladies. And then this Sunday, I'll be hosting Tina, who is Tina Ferrone. She is the owner of a yoga studio in our capital city, Canada, Ottawa, Canada, and she owns a world-class yoga studio. So we'll be learning all about what's behind the scenes and really what the motivation is, and maybe some inspiration if you're thinking of opening up a business or a yoga studio. So with that, oh, happy birthday, Kathy. Wow, that's true. I forgot your birthday was in May. Happy birthday. Great place to come and celebrate. So staying healthy and fit. So working on back bends today. So let's get started, get right into the practice. And I'm going to invite you to sit comfortably. We'll start with a seated position for this one today. You can come into cross-legged. If cross-legged is not your thing, if you're struggling for it, you could instead prop your hips up. Maybe sit on a cushion or bolster. Even a yoga block can be a comfortable place to settle into. So from here, you can bring the backs of the hands over your knees, your thighs. Turning the palms up just helps to open up through the heart so that it makes it easier to breathe. And as you close the eyes, you can let yourself bring the attention inward. And it's always a great way to start the practice. You might even place one hand on your heart, one hand on the abdomen as you keep the shoulders relaxed. And this just helps you to be mindful of where your breath is going as you draw it in through the nostrils. Let it make its way down into the abdomen. Feeling the hand gently pushing against, or the belly pushing against the hand. And then as you exhale, the navel draws in and then the chest draws in as well. And just continue to observe your breath. So that tactile sense of having the hands in that placement can be really helpful. And if it's more comfortable for you to place the hands back over the knees, go ahead. It's all about finding what works best for you. Savor your breath and be patient with yourself if you're finding that you have a whole lot of thoughts kind of popping in and out of your awareness. That's okay. That's normal. You may have had a busy day, even during this time of lockdown where I am and many of you are. You still have a pretty busy day, a lot on your plate, trying to coordinate things. So let the breath be your guide as you enter this practice. Relaxing the facial features, relaxing your jaw as you continue to breathe. And as you continue to let the breath be seamless from inhale to exhale. You find the comfort and the soothing that your breath offers. So from here, let's release the arms to the sides and open up through the heart a little bit more as you extend the arms out. And then with a beautiful big breath, floating those arms, using the whole inhale on the way up, pressing the palms together as you bring them down to your heart. Let's do that a few more times. So breathe in, floating those arms up, palms together, and exhale, bringing the hands back down to the heart. Forgot to turn my volume off, so sorry about that little ding. It's all good now. Turn it off, so I'm all yours for the next 50 minutes. So from here, you can take a bow as you just feel yourself stretching into the back a little bit more. So we're going to, even though we're focusing on back bends today, we're going to warm up the whole body so that your back bends come more naturally. So bring yourself back up again. Let's scoop those arms up. We're reaching way up. And as you exhale, reach forward, bringing the hands down in front of you. Walking them away, keeping your bottom. Now, if you're sitting on a block, you might want to slide it out of the way now so that you're more grounded and you don't feel like you're going to tip over. And as you stay up, way up on those fingertips, start to add a little bit of swaying here from side to side, loosening up into that back body, side body. And maybe easing your hands, walking them over to the right side and just reaching away, pressing that left sit bone to the floor. Taking your left hand and reaching it out back behind you and drawing a very big circle with the arm. It feels so good as you stretch that side body. From here, we walk the hands back through to the center. Maybe you'll find that you can hinge a little bit further now. Breathing in, maybe creeping those fingertips a little bit further away. And then walking them over to the left side. And kind of bringing your upper body, upper torso over your left thigh as you continue to walk those fingertips away, pressing your right sit bone into the mat and taking a nice big inhale as you circle that right arm around. Feel yourself loosening up that shoulder even more. Bringing that hand back, pressing the right sit bone down a little bit more as you maybe have a bit more range. It's just about these little micro movements that gradually increase your flexibility. Walking yourself back to the center. Let's walk the hands back in and reset nice and tall. So as we take the opposite ankle in front, we change up that stretch through the hips and bringing hands to the knees. Let's circle it around. So gently massaging and gradually increasing the range. You might close your eyes here just because it feels so good when you link your breathing and your movement together. It's as if you start to create a dance with your flow. And bringing it all the way back. Reset. Slide those shoulders down and take a big inhale again, circling in the opposite direction. Again, guiding yourself. Using the hands, let the sensation in your body connected with your breathing be your guide. So that way you don't end up going too far. You don't end up creating any kind of struggle. You simply allow yourself to grow into the movements. And then taking it all the way back, resetting here. So from here, taking the hands behind you, you just want to walk the fingers back a bit. And as you lean into the hands, open up the heart. So begin to lift your chest forward and upward. You might even let the head gently fall back a little bit, only if it feels good. So be cautious not to create pressure in your cervical spine. You want to keep the neck long here, opening up those airways to breathe into. And then slowly bring yourself back to sitting nice and tall. From here, you can uncross the ankles, stretch the legs out long. As you do a little bit of a shake out to the legs, getting that blood flowing through there. It's going to be important to get these quadricep muscles to get stretched out to allow us to have more flexibility. So we are going to incorporate some forward bending as we have a little bit of twisting just to balance out our practice. But overall, it's about back bending today. So let's come onto all fours, planting the hands underneath the shoulders and spreading those hands wide open. Always an option if you prefer it to make fists and have that flat portion of the fists down. So really depends. We want to gradually strengthen the hands and the wrists. And as you take a breath in here, lift your gaze forward and upward, and then gently tuck your tailbone, creating some rounding in your spine. Look towards your belly button and then reverse that. Breathing in, take your time to do this. If you feel like you're going slow, I challenge you to go even slower so that you can really give yourself the opportunity to massage your spine and really enjoy your breath. It's so calming, it's so soothing. I don't think anything clears the mind more than taking the time to breathe. Nothing calms the nervous system more because when you breathe fully, deep belly breaths, your vagus nerve, which originates at the brain stem and it kind of meanders through all the major organs in your body, it gets activated with deep belly breathing. And this really helps your whole body to function in the best possible way. So come on back to your tabletop. Let's bring the knees apart and you can bring your big toes together. This will allow some space to begin to simulate a little bit of a back bend. So before you let the forehead drop here, you could even use stack your fists if you like so that you allow the head to stay up a little more if that's more comfortable for you. But I want you to bring a focus to letting your chest drop toward the mat, letting your belly feel like it's coming through the legs, and then intending your tailbone towards your heels. Now, once you do that, you might get low enough that you can even bring your ear to the mat. If not, just place your forehead on your mat or on your hands, your block, breathing here. If you do have the ear to the mat, you'll want to switch it up and bring it to the opposite side. Welcome, Nona Grace. Nice to see you again this week. Awesome. I'm happy that you're going to try it out. Be gentle. Listen to your body. We're just getting things warmed up here so that we can better bring some back bending into our bodies. And slowly make your way up into table again. Now you might wonder why back bending, and really feel that it's important to have that greater flexibility. Now, if you have some yoga blocks, you can use them here. They're certainly not necessary. They just help to make your reach a little easier. We're going to step the right foot forward and sink the hips. Now, if you're not using yoga blocks, you could simply have the hands maybe come up on your fingertips and have yourself propped up a little bit more. And you can see through my left side here, I'm really elongating that left hip and my thigh. And I can just hold it here and breathe and let every exhale feel like my pelvis is a little bit heavier. Now, if you have maybe a little more experience or you're pretty confident with your balance, you can bring the hands up to your thigh to kind of prop you up a little bit more. Continuing to keep your heart reaching forward and upward, pressing firmly into that front foot. And we continue to let the pelvis melt forward. So you can see here, I'm starting to create a little bit of a back bend. And that's what we want. We want to just gradually open up the front lines of the body and bring a little bit more of that compression in the back. But it's important to stay long while you're compressing. So you don't want to be squishing your discs here. So let's ease the hips back. So we're just going to give ourselves a little counterbalance stretch by coming into a bit of a half split. So tipping the hips forward, bringing your belly toward that front thigh is going to lengthen the back of the leg. And if you want to maximize that, you can lift the toes up and press through the heel. We did this one on Monday's practice when we were focusing on forward bending. And as I started to say, it's really important to have flexibility of your spine in all directions. So forward bending, back bending, and twisting. So they're all crucial to keeping that spine flexible. So from here, stepping that right knee underneath the hip, let's take a little pause here, bringing ourselves to standing tall just on the knees. Let's take a big inhale and reach the arms up. Bring the palms together. See if you can ease your hips forward. Notice how it feels. Right side compared to the left side, which you haven't opened up yet. And float those arms back down again. Now, working your way back to stepping the opposite foot forward. So once again, we reach the heart forward and upward. So either up on your fingertips or hands on your blocks. You may have to pad the back knee also. So if you're doing this on a hardwood floor, you don't have a carpeted surface or your mat is not very thick, this is where you could put the blanket underneath either the knee or your shin on that right side to give you a little bit more comfort. And then just keep pressing it ever so slightly into your left heel here. And again, you're going to find that every time you breathe out, you're able to soften and bring a little bit more heaviness to your pelvis. Breathe easy, lift your gaze, hold on here. If you start to get a little too wobbly and you start to tense up too much, just bring your hands down. We're just warming things up still. And then bring your hands to the mat. Ease slowly to bring those hips back. Again, the toes can stay down. You can maximize your stretch by lifting up your toes off the floor. So Kathy, your birthday is actually a little later this month. So we'll have to make a note of that. I don't think we'll be celebrating in person, but at least we can celebrate virtually. Getting closer to the finish line, I think. Hope. And from here, let's bring that back down. And as we bring the left knee underneath the hip, let's check in again. So stand tall on the knees. Bring your hands to your lower back. So with the fingertips pointed down here, you're going to kind of cradle the sacrum, move the hips forward, and gently lean yourself back. Opening up the heart, squeeze the elbows a little bit more toward each other to just feel yourself starting to introduce more length. Now let's balance that out by coming into classical child's pose. So you're going to keep the knees parallel to each other. Bring the forehead down, reach the arms alongside the legs, and round into the back. So we balance it out from that back bending and stretch the front. So we go back and forth, stretching front, stretching back to create a really balanced approach. So taking the hands further forward, let's tuck the toes under and move into a downward facing dog. So from here, you're going to press into the hands. Now, if you struggle with the downward dog, you can stay on all fours in a table position instead. So from here, you're going to spread those hands, bend and straighten alternate legs, walking it out a little bit. And as we press the heart toward those legs, nice stretch through the backs of the legs. Let's take some little baby steps to bring the feet all the way to the top of the mat. So flatten out your back, breathe in and breathe out. Glad that you like that child's pose. It is divine, truly. As you open up the arms, reach them high, bring the palms together and let them land at your heart center. So let's add to our flexibility by taking the arms up. We're going to work on spinal flexibility here. I'm just going to turn so that you can see the direction that my body is going in. So the feet are underneath my hips and I've got steeple hands, so my hands kind of disappear out of the frame here, but I've got fingers interlaced except for my index fingers. So if you can see those, let's reach them up to the sky. Inhale, get long, and as you exhale, lean to the side and gently push your hips in the opposite direction. Lengthen yourself out, breathe, and maybe look past that top elbow. So again, we stretch now side to side. So notice before we create any kind of bending, we reach and we get long through the spine, creating separation between those discs, and then we lean over to the side, pushing the hips in the opposite direction. Breathe, keep those feet firmly planted. Breathe in, come on up again. And exhale, bring the arms at your sides. Once again, you might close the eyes as you take a little opportunity here to massage out your shoulders and just feel really, really grounded through the soles of your feet. And it just feels so good, so solid as you start to open up your body this way. So let's take another breath, float the arms up as we continue to open up and prepare ourselves for more back bending. So first we fold forward, inhale, flatten the back, and as you take a big step back with your right foot and sinking the hip here, once again, we'll bring the knee down to the floor and we come back to that stretch. This time, we bring the hands together and continue to reach back a little bit with the arms. Now, if you're struggling here, you could still keep your hands to your mat and don't come quite so deep. Just focus on melting your pelvis toward the floor. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands to your heart center. And let's add a twist, bringing the right elbow outside the left thigh. Looking past that right shoulder. Grow taller through your spine. And you might find yourself a little bit wobbly here. And if you can't stay quite as long, that's okay. See if you can keep looking back behind you. And then unwind, bring the hands down, tuck the toes under, lift the knee up, and take a big step forward. Inhaling with a flat back. Exhaling to fold. And open up those arms, reverse your swan dive. So you stretch, 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 bringing palms together. Look up, exhale, hands land at your heart center. And breathe easy. So feeling really solid here, feeling a little bit, start to feel some nice opening in the hips. Now that right one's had two tries, so let's balance it as we inhale and reach up, look up. Dive down into your forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands. Let's do the same thing on the left side. So taking a big step there, bringing that knee down. Take a moment. Make sure your knee's far enough back so you do feel the stretch, or bring it in closer if it's too much of a stretch. Working your way up. Reaching the arms up, interlace those fingers except for your pointer fingers. Breathe in, nice and long here. Lift your gaze, lean back, reach the arms back a tiny bit if you can. You might not see a lot of movement, and that's okay, especially if you're not used to back bending. This might feel very, very foreign to you. Just be patient, give yourself time, and your spine will thank you, especially if you are gentle with it. Take your left elbow outside of your right knee, press those hands together and look back. Continue to melt that left hip toward the floor and look past that back shoulder. Push into your hands a little bit. That's going to help with your twist. And then let it go. Come on back. And as you tuck your back toes under, plant your hands down. This time you're going back into your downward facing dog. So again, if downward dog is an issue for you, just come down onto all fours with your knees on the mat. From here, we move forward into a high plank position. So it can be a high plank from toes or a half plank from your knees. Take a breath in and use your exhale to control the weight down to your mat. As you stretch the tops of your feet, we're going to come into a little baby cobra here. So tip of your nose to the mat, hands just outside of your chest. Lengthen your neck, tuck your tailbone a little bit, press the tops of your feet into your mat. Take an inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, as much of it as you're comfortable doing, and see if you can lift your hands away from your mat. And then bring it back down again. So that takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy. So if you can't go very high, that's okay. In time, you get stronger through those back muscles and more flexible as well. So let's prepare to do the next one. Take an inhale, lengthen, tuck the tailbone, and as you inhale again, lifting up and bringing that chest, ribs, hands away from the mat, and release it. So let's do that again, squeezing those elbows in toward the body. So you want to feel like you're sliding your shoulder blades down your back, pressing through the tops of your feet. Take an inhalation and lift and lengthen at the same time, and let it go. From here, we're going to press into the hands, press into the knees, and let's take it back into that favorite one of yours, Miriam, child's pose. Take it into either a stretched out arms reaching out child's pose, or bring your arms right by your legs to relax and breathe. Slowly unroll yourself and come on up to your table. Notice as you check in here just how things are feeling. Maybe a little bit looser, and you can go back through a couple of cow cats here just to check in, not overdoing it. And as we walk the hands further forward, tuck those toes under, and let's lift the right leg up and back. Oh, so now we test the balance a little bit here as we reach way up and back. Level the hips, level the shoulders. Again, you can do this from a table if you need to. Bring your right knee into the body, and let's step it all the way to the top of the mat. From here, we're going to bring the back heel so the left heel connects to your mat. I'm just going to move this out of the way so you can see a little bit better here. And as I square up my hips, I find my tall, lengthened spine over those hips. And I continue to press my left hip forward and right hip back. Now, taking my right hand on the back of my left leg, let's see if I can slide those fingers down the back of the leg as I keep reaching back with my left hand. Releasing that right hand back to meet the left, floating them to the heart. So a little test of balance and turning of the back toes so that the outside edge of my foot is parallel to the back edge of my mat. So bending the front knee a little bit more if I can, and then straightening that leg. So let's inhale, float those arms up, and exhale, bring them to the heart. So just generating a little bit more movement to really lubricate those hip joints. And again, one more time, inhale, reach up, bring the arms nice and wide, and just as if you're doing a cartwheel, we're going to cartwheel the hands, one on either side of that front foot, and step it back into a downward facing dog. So from your toes or from your knees, if you're modifying, you can come to half plank, Bringing those hands underneath your shoulders and staying strong here and long. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, lower yourself all the way down. So press through the tops of your feet. Let's push up into Cobra. This time you can keep your hands on your mat. For those of you who are a bit more experienced, you can lift your hips up off the mat, pressing through the tops of your feet, holding it here if you can. Not just bring your knees down to the floor and take it back, either into child's pose or roll through those toes to bring it into downward facing dog or child's pose. Your choice. This is your practice. I'm just guiding you along here, giving you some options. Whenever you're ready, come on up from table or from downward dog to reach back with your left leg. Reach, level the body, bring that knee in and step the foot to the top of your mat. Bring your back heel to the floor and let's work our way up to warrior one on the other side. Again, strong arms, strong legs, lifting your heart. So again, it's creating a little back bend here as you continue to shine your heart forward and upward. Taking your left hand on the back of the right leg, slide it down. Keep reaching it back with your right hand. Oh, and spread your collarbones nice and wide open. See if maybe there's a little bit more range to get that left hand down the back of the leg. And then bring it up again. Inhale. Hands come to the heart and turning, pivoting on that back foot to open up into your warrior two. So from here, we stack the body over top of the hips. Take an inhale, reach it up. And exhale, circle and bring those hands to your heart. So a couple more like that. Breathe in and reach. Stay tall and long. So you're really focusing on the length of your spine, the control of your movement linked with breath, and the control in your core. It's going to stabilize you so that you can stay strong. So we'll take one more here. Bring the arms up, come back to your warrior two, reset, and cartwheel those hands back to the top of the mat, stepping it back into a high plank or half plank, lowering down to your mat. So let's take an inhalation here, lifting up, opening up, sinking the pelvis as you continue to gaze upward. And let's bring those knees all the way to the mat and push the hips back. And from here, the forehead once again is nice and heavy as you breathe ever so smoothly. And then coming back into your downward facing dog. As we, once again, so one more time, let's lift that right leg into a three-legged dog. Let's bend the knee and point it up to the sky. Feel that stretch in the hip. You've got gravity helping you on this one. Circle the knee around a few times. And circle it the other way as well. And then square the hips, reach it back, and step that foot to the top of the mat. So sinking your hips nice and low. We're going to add on here a little bit more. So you bring the knee back, just as we did before for that kneeling lunge. Only this time I'm going to place my left hand under the shoulder. So if I needed a little bit more, my arms are really long. So if yours are not, you may want to use some extra support here. So if you don't have blocks, again, pillows, folded blankets can be really helpful, or even a big textbook. But from here, we are going to take a big circle with the right arm. Reach it back, look to your thumb, maybe getting a little higher up here, and see if you can pick up the back foot. Now, if you can't quite grab a hold of it, maybe it's over here somewhere and you can't reach it, maybe you're able to grab your pant leg and have that help you to pull it and bring it in. Or if you're able to bring the foot in, see if you can squeeze it a little bit closer, continuing to sink your hips. So don't let your hips go back for the sake of reaching your foot. It's more important what's going on in the front of this left hip in your quadricep muscles more than reaching your foot. Looking back, breathe and release it as you circle the arm back, bring the toes down, lift the knee up, and take that back foot so that it turns parallel to the edge of your mat. From here, I'm going to prop my arm up onto the thigh, just so I've got some support here, and I'm going to focus on activating my core and reach the arm alongside the ear. So I create a nice long line. Now I might be able to get a little deeper into it. Maybe the feet can go a little further apart. And then taking that arm right around behind me to open up the chest more. So I can use the back of my hand on my low back and kind of press into it. Look up toward the ceiling. Keep pressing that front knee open. Breathe, smile. And then let it go. Reach it up again. Inhale and exhale. Circle it all the way down. Step it back into your downward facing dog. Either from toes or knees, come on forward. Inhale it. Exhale as you lower and press it up. Upward dog or cobra through the tops of your feet or from your knees to come to downward dog. So we're just about ready to make our way to the floor. Now we have to balance this out onto the other side. You stay where you are. I'm just going to turn around here so that I can keep facing you as I do the other side. So from here, lifting up into three-legged dog, the left leg, bending it, pointing it to the sky, letting gravity do the work for a little bit. You might even be able to bring your right heel all the way to the floor. Circle that around a little bit if you can. Remember, you can do this from table. And then reach it long. Reach, 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 and draw the knee in. Step that foot to the top of the mat, so between the hands. So once again, I'm going to bring that hip down, or the knee down, so the hip has that sensation. Hello, Smitty's Fitness, welcome. Hope you're having a good day. And from here, we continue to melt that hip down. So once again, you can use some support underneath your right hand, or just placing, come up onto the pads and fingers, or your whole hand can come down if your arms are long. From here, circle that left arm back, reach it back, look towards your thumb if you can, and perhaps you're able to pick up that foot and bring it in towards you. Again, remember, you might be somewhere over here, and that might be as far as it goes, or you might get close enough to have the pant leg accessible to you. So whatever works for you, or if you have a yoga strap, that can be a good option as well. You just thread your foot through it and pull it in and look back. See if you can continue to pull that foot a little bit closer. This, as you open your chest, it also helps to prepare you for those deeper back bends. And then let it go. Circle that arm forward again. Tuck the back toes under, lifting that knee, bringing the heel to the floor so the whole foot grounds. Your left arm rests on the left leg. Yeah, it is a really deep hip stretch. It feels so good to open up those hips. It is, I mean, when you think about it, your whole body, the two halves of it are held by all those, the big ball and socket joint of the hip, the connective tissue that are hip flexors, our glutes. Like there's so much intersecting there in that pelvis. So it's really, it feels really, really good. It's important to stretch it, and it feels awesome to do that. Now you can take that top arm as well. Bring it around your low back. Turn and look up. Smile while you're there. Keep breathing. And you can use your bottom arm here to kind of push your knee open a little bit. Now, again, you could maybe get your feet further apart so you can get a little bit deeper into it. I was going to challenge your balance a bit more. And then reach and extend. And as you circle the arm all the way down, you make your way back into your downward facing dog. Lifting those hips high to the sky. Inhale as you come forward into your plank. Exhale as you lower. Breathe in, press it up, and breathe out. Come on back into child's pose. So from here, we are nicely warmed up. You can stay in your child's pose a little longer here as you continue to breathe. I'm just going to adjust my mat, make sure that you can see everything clearly. And as you round your back out of your child's pose, kind of like an angry cat, we're going to make our way onto the forearms. So you're going to bring your forearms to the top of the mat, stretching them out in front of you, forearms parallel to each other. You can back up your knees to kind of come into a half plank from the forearms, and then let the hips melt down. So from here, we open the heart, and we start to, you probably will find it a little bit easy. Now, if you're not used to back bending, this is going to be challenging still. So what you could do is bring your elbows further in front to decrease the angle in your lower back. So that way there's a little less compression and it makes it more comfortable for you to hang out here a little bit longer. However, if you are doing okay here with your elbows underneath your shoulders a little bit more, focus on opening up your chest. Keep sliding your shoulder blades down your back. Keep your gaze lifted forward and upward to really elongate. You're stimulating the thyroid gland here in the throat, which is kind of like a butterfly right at the base of the throat above the collarbones. And hanging out here, for those of you who want to go deeper, just take a handprint wider. So have your thumbs pointed toward each other, your index fingers pointed straight ahead, and then press up into a seal pose here. And this is going to make a much deeper back bend. Now, if you find that your shoulders are kind of sliding up here, just relax them down or come back down on your forearms if this is a bit too deep of a stretch. And breathing here, this is really good compression for your kidneys. It's very stimulating to them, which helps with the detoxification of your body. Keep breathing and take one more breath as you exhale. Slowly let yourself roll down, and let's release the lower back by stacking the hands together, bringing your left ear to the hand, slide your right knee out to the side. So that gives a really good release to your lower back. And then let's switch it over to the other side. So bring that right leg back in, bring your right ear to your stacked hands and slide your left knee out to the side. And then release it. Bring your hands just outside of the rib cage. Elbows tuck in a little bit. Breathe in to lift up and breathe out to push back. It's always a great idea when you've done back bends to do a forward bend and to do some twisting as well, so that bringing the knee out to the side kind of gave the spine a gentle twist, which just helps to bring things back into place. Thank you, Alicia. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. as we move all the way back to table. We're going to come into seated now. So if you have any props, as I mentioned earlier, so it could be yoga block, it could be a bolster, it could be as small, and I'm going to start small and work my way up. So go reach for the prop that you have available because your spine, your hips are well warmed up now, and you're ready to come into more passive back bend. And that's what we're going to do for today. So there are means of making your back bend much more active. So I'm just going to roll this up. So I start off. So this is about the length of my spine. I'm going to go this way, maybe a little bit longer so I can rest my head on it. But I'm going to roll up this blanket so you can see I've got this little roll here, not very big. You can do it with a towel also. It might actually serve you even better. It might be a little bit thicker. But bringing that right to the lower back and allowing my spine to align itself right along the blanket, and I can bring my legs long here and I can open up the arms. So from here you can simply extend the legs out. Now if you want a little extra, you bring the soles of your feet together, butterfly your knees out to the sides, and hang out here for a while. So you can stay there if that's what resonates best for your body. But if you do have a higher prop and you find this isn't quite enough, you could reach for your yoga block. Yoga block beautifully has 3 settings on it. So you have kind of a low side, then you have the medium side, and then you have a higher side. That one's pretty high though for most of us for back bend. So let's go with the medium height here. And if you've got 2 of them or even your rolled up blanket, what you could do is have it to the ready so that you can support your head on it. So I'm going to bring this to the base of my back rib cage. So I'm not going to have it so that this edge is pushing into the discs in the lower back. I want the flat portion of my back rib cage to rest on the block so that I feel really well supported. So again, the legs could be long here or they could be butterflied. So I can use that second block and just place it underneath my head to open things up. Breathing easy and also finding that perfect position. So having the arms open is going to promote the stretching of the front body so I can breathe much easier as well. I'm happy to hear that, Kathy, that you're feeling great. You are most welcome. I'm so happy that you're able to join. And then I've got this squishy ball used for Pilates as well as it can be used in yoga. Or if you have a child's ball nearby, I could have a combination of the ball and the blanket and find my way back into that reclined position. So using that, feel really, really nice here. And it's very easy for me to remain in that back bend. But if you're not used to it, you're going to find after maybe a minute or so, half a minute, couple minutes, that it starts to get uncomfortable. So what I would recommend when it does is roll through your side to make your way out, move the prop out of the way, and then return to your supine position. Just lay back and hug the knees into your body. But first, I want to show you as well using the big boy here as we bring that as a way to modify coming into a wheel, a supported wheel. So having the back, you can see the arch of my back follows the shape of the ball. So it makes it really comfortable. Bringing the arms back and onto the mat. I can then play around with maybe extending the legs here, keeping the hands grounded, and just different variations. I can bring the feet in a little closer. I can lift one of my legs or the other leg, just to kind of make it more playful and to really encourage a deeper stretch. But For now, we are going to make our way into that supine position. So if you have been hanging out on your prop, just roll through the side. Keep your prop handy though, as you come back to your supine position, hugging the knees into your body. A little bit of a back massaging here. And as you bring the feet flat on your mat, would you reach for that block, keeping the knees bent and lifting from the tailbone, lifting my hips up to place that block right underneath the big flat bone at the back of my pelvis. So I can remain here again because I have the options of the different heights of the block. I could just remain with the legs bent. I might want to stretch them out. And again, you can see the shape of the spine here that encourages that lengthening. This is not a position that we normally will use throughout our day. We're always living our life, reaching forward. We're driving, we're eating, we're tying our shoelaces, we're cooking, we're doing all those things that take us in the opposite direction. So when we come into yoga practice, we have the opportunity to bring the balance to our spine. And it's just such a wonderful thing to really promote a lifelong way of having flexibility, having range of motion, and just more vitality by having the flexibility in your spine. So take a few more breaths here. If you want to get even longer, you can take the arms back behind you. And then bringing your hands right by your hips, walking your feet in. Bring your knees over your ankles. Take a big breath in and exhale. Lift those hips up. Squeezing the glutes a little bit here to stay supported as you slide the block right out. From here, articulate, starting from the top of your spine and gradually lower and release to your mat. You can scoop your knees in here, massage your back a little bit, side to side. You can bring your nose to your knees in order to, again, bring some balance back to the spine. And then bringing your head back down again. Open up the arms, bring the feet to the floor. And from here, we're just going to shift our hips a little bit to the left as you drop your knees to the right. Close your eyes. Again, this is all about restoring that balance to your spine. As you hold that twist, you're going to breathe into your chest, right into the bottom lobes of the lungs on the left side, which is wide open. You might even take your right hand on your left knee and kind of slide it up a little bit more toward your chest to get a little deeper. But notice my shoulder on the left side is staying anchored to the mat. And that's what you'll want to do, is maintain that connection and enjoy the great stretch in the glutes here. And then release that foot, roll through the middle, and reposition the spine and let the knees drop over to the other side. Same thing here. Turn your gaze towards your right hand this time. Close your eyes and settle into the twist. If you need to, slide your right knee using your left hand. It might feel nice. You might want to kind of experiment with it to see whether or not your body is craving that and enjoying that. It's really about, I think, part of the journey of yoga is to become more in tune with what your body enjoys, what it likes, what feels good. And sometimes some of the poses might feel Not so good in the beginning, but discomfort is always okay because it's different than what you're normally doing, but it's never about pushing into pain, which I love. As you let go of that twist, you can bring the knees back to the center again. Reposition your spine down the middle. Walk the feet away. Find comfortable positioning. Now, because we did a lot of work on back bending, you may find that if there's any sensation in the lower back, you can use a couple of pillows, the rolled up blanket, your blocks, or your bolster and place them behind your knees. It's going to really allow your lower back to ease into your mat. You can close your eyes. Notice your breath once again, just as we did at the beginning of the practice. Relaxing through the face, the jaw. Feeling the movement of your breath. And gradually let it become less felt, more intuitive. Maybe just so slightly aware of the soft movement in the nostrils. That movement becomes so soft that it might even feel like the hairs in your nostrils don't even move because your breath is so gentle. Feel the weight of your body. And as thoughts come into your awareness, imagine each thought like a bright colored helium filled balloon. And as it comes into your awareness, letting go of it and watching it float away into the sky. And as the next one enters your awareness, the same thing. Just letting it go, detaching yourself as it flies away, getting smaller and smaller. And then the next one. Not trying to burst it or push it away, just gently surrendering it. As this is your time to relax, to enjoy having the opportunity to step away from everything else. Just you on your mat, thoughts dissipating, floating away, and back in again. And feeling more peace, more calm, feel good energy. So as you hold on to that feeling, start to restore some movement as you gently coax the hands, the feet back to life and wiggle them around, slowly waking up the body. Gently circling wrists and ankles, and doing that in both directions. You can relax the arms, legs as you focus on stretching your neck, turning the head one way and then turning it the other way. Silky breath, bringing you back to life, getting a little deeper now, so that when you're ready to stretch and to lengthen and to open up fully, you can feel as if you are waking up for the first time today. You gradually bring the knees into your body, hug them in, give yourself a squeeze. And then as you roll all the way over onto your side, you cradle the head. Take a little pause here. And then pressing the floor away to come all the way up to seated. As you do, you can keep your eyes closed just a little bit longer. Again, bringing one hand to the heart. Actually, bring both hands to the heart as you just feel the well of gratitude for so kindly giving yourself this time today, to this discipline that is healing to the body, healing to the mind and the soul, and setting an intention for the rest of your evening, your day. Perhaps it is to hold on to that feel-good energy as long as possible. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I so really appreciate your time, your dedication, your passion for yoga that brought you here. And let me know as well if you enjoy this live format. I know I certainly am enjoying it. I'm enjoying your comments, and just a little reminder, tomorrow will be a video that I release on actually cooling down after a workout. So you can use yoga as a form of cooling down. And it's not a really long one, so it's just a nice quick stretch that hits all of the major muscles and groups of joints. And as well, Friday morning, 11 a.m., if you're able to make it, we will be going through a twisting practice. So you have a little taste of it. Thank you, Marie. I'm glad to hear that. I hope that you'll come back sometime real soon. So hopefully I'll see you on Friday if you're able to make it. And do be sure to join me on Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the interview with Tina Ferron. And that should be quite a treat. So everyone, good. I'm glad you like the live. It does feel like we're together in class again. It's awesome. I really appreciate you being here. So have a great evening, everyone. Enjoy your yoga buzz. Hang on to it as long as possible. And I will see you again really soon. Take care. Bye, Eric.